Welcome to Big Brave Business. This is a podcast built on the belief that you can create absolutely anything for yourself. Whether it's a dream job or a dream life, it's all possible for you.
I'm Amanda Nelson, a virtual assistant and digital marketer, and that's Sarah Heater, podcast producer and strategic consultant. Each week, we will share insights from working with dozens of clients, stories of how we got where we are, and encourage you to see us as your new business besties.
So grab a cup of coffee and let's talk being brave in business. Welcome back to Big Brave Business. Amanda, how are you?
I am doing really well. It is freezing cold. Christmas is on the way. Hot chocolate is cooking on the stovetop. What else could I possibly need? It's been such a lovely couple of weeks enjoying some colder weather here in Alabama. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. This is my favorite time of year, and for a million reasons. And I think I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, but it's like this season just makes me so happy. It brings me so much joy. I love all the togetherness. I love the decorations. I love the cooler weather. I love the food. I love everything about it. It's so fun. And I love, love, love gift giving. So Christmas is my favorite holiday personally. And yeah, I go way overboard. But I love
That's so fun. I absolutely love that. That's so fun. I'm excited because this week we are going to do a quick little chat about what our goals are for this coming year. And then get excited, guys, because if you remember when we first launched, the very first episode we did was our predictions for the year. I am terrified. I do not remember what I said, but I can guarantee you I was completely wrong. So next week we're going to talk about our predictions for 2023 and just how wrong we were. So let's talk a little bit about just what your hopes are for 2024. Sarah, do you have one offhand? Maybe talk about what your revenue goals are, goals for staffing. You've got so many things cooking right now.
I do. I think that my main goal at this point, revenue wise, is just to be up again. I just want to keep going in that direction. As far as an actual number, maybe I'll stick with the same like big, hairy, audacious goal I had for this year, which was 500K, which I did not hit. So maybe we'll stick with that. But I don't know. I'm generally like a continue to set higher goals person. But if I didn't even hit that this year, then like maybe we set it again for next year. And there's a chance I actually could do it next year. So who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
So I will have hit six figures by now, and that's exciting because that was my biggest goal. So last year I did $60,000 in my business. This year I've done six figures. So that's a lot of growth, which is very exciting.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm very excited by that. But I want to grow, but I'm going to try to set myself like a 10% higher than this year, knowing that I will surpass that. I feel very confident in saying that I'll surpass that. What I do this year, I'll surpass by 10% and above. But that's what I'm going to say is my goal. But really, if at the end of 2024, I look back and I have maintained the income that I have now, but I also have another business that's bringing in income, I would be very, very, very happy. Like I would love to have some kind of, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, I really have a passion to have some kind of tangible product to sell. And so I'm very excited about that idea. It's something else to bring in income that I know will take a lot of work, but I think I'm at a place in my business that I could. So I'm just going to say I want to do what I've done this year and I want to up it by 10%. I feel good about that.
That's a great goal. And yes, I know you've been craving that about kind of diversifying what you're focused on. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. A physical product would be cool. I also think digital products could be really cool because that's something that you do for everyone else, right? But you haven't necessarily been able to focus on for yourself. That would be cool. So another goal that I have for next year, and I talked about this a little bit in recent weeks, is that we're moving. So I want to figure out where we're moving and then move and feel good about it. I want to have a plan and then that I'm excited about, and then I want it to actually happen. And I think right now it just feels like chaos and question marks. And I think we'll be okay no matter where we land, but I don't want to just land. I want to be excited and intentional about what we choose and to like create a vision for ourselves with whatever our next move is, so that would be my next thing. And I know that sounds like stuff I've already said, but it just is such a big, like, that
It's
is
a lot.
commanding my 2024 vision right now.
I get it. I get it. How are you feeling about I know in the last episode we talked a little bit about staffing. What would you think at the end of
Mm.
2024 would be like the perfect goal? What would your team look like?
I don't know, but what I do know is I want to be more of a CEO and less of a doer. That's definitely, like, a big focus. So, one of the things that I didn't talk about on the previous episode, which is weird, I'm gonna blame it on having been under the weather, is, like, bringing on somebody to help them learn how to do the stuff that I do as far as sales calls and strategic consulting goes. So, there is somebody that I'm talking to that we've, like, had preliminary conversations, and if I could bring on people who do those sales calls for me, so I'm not sitting on those, and obviously, I'm gonna continue serving the clients that I have that they paid for a certain package, but being able to do less of the strategic consulting calls as well, I think if I can focus more on the larger vision and more of, like, yeah, the high level leadership aspect and less of the in the weeds stuff, I think that would be, like, big, big progress, and also, I wanna be able to take time off. Those are my big goals when it comes to staffing.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I am going to be setting up my office at the end of 2023, which I think is going to be so exciting to have like an area to spread out, think, grow, all those wonderful things. I'm really feeling like optimistic about 2024 for some reason in a way that I didn't about 2023. Do you feel that way or did you feel like 2023 was really the year for you that you felt excited? I'm like embarrassingly excited about this new year for some reason.
I was very excited coming into 2023. I felt
Yeah.
very confident and, thrilled, and I think I started my business in 2019, so I think I'm, like, 1 year-ish earlier than you, is that right?
I think so. That sounds about right.
So I think it kinda makes sense if that sort of momentum build has happened where it's like you build confidence in, "This is real, this is working, I know what I'm doing, I know how to manage things." Like, you feel less like, a new kitten, like, exploring the world, blind and like, I don't have a mother, like, what am I doing? Where do I go? Who do I ask questions to? How do I manage these things that come up? And you're like, "No, I, like, know my business. I know my business, I know what I'm doing, I know how to handle things, I know how to handle clients, I feel good about this and I feel confident." And I think that really breeds, like, excitement and momentum in owning what you do. I think going into 2024, I'm still excited. It's still this sounds so cheesy, but my business is still my favorite part of my life, which, like, I love you, Eric, who's listening to this because he edits the podcast. You're my other favorite part of my life, but this is absolutely, like, hands down the best decision that I ever made was going into business for myself, and I couldn't have done it without Eric as my partner. Yeah, so I just feel I think more than, like, excitement, I think it's more like gratitude and peace, and it's like a definite identity shift where before it was like, "This is cool, it's a new thing I'm trying," and now it's like, "No, this is just who I am." Like, I run a business. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. It sounds like you're going to be transitioning out of doing more of the day to day work. And I know how much you love that. Do you feel like you'll be fulfilled? I'm just wondering, you're like, I love my business, but I don't want to be working as much. I'm just curious, what do you see like your role looking like next year?
Yeah, well, I say this knowing it will take time to build
Yeah.
that transition and to trust it. I think there's, like, a lot of how do you trust somebody with the parts that only you can do? Like, that's a lot, but in
Mhm.
order to one day be able to sell the business eventually, which I've talked on the podcast before, is the eventual goal, is to build a business I can sell. In order to do that, I have to be able to step out of it, right? So I think tiptoeing in the water of how do I start to build something that could look like that one day where I could step out of it? I suspect that at least for the first half of the year, I'm still gonna be very involved in all of the day-to-day stuff, but yeah, I think to your what we've talked about with you, like, themes over the past couple weeks, it's like the work-life balance has to be there, and it's such a shift from the hustle mentality and, like, the number of hours that I work, especially preparing to go on our trip at the beginning of November, like, I was working around the clock. I mean, I was working, and I know this was you too. I was working like 16-hour days, and that's not sustainable, and that's not why I started this business. That's not how I wanna live. Like, I've gotta get meetings off my calendar. I've gotta get some work-life balance back. I've gotta get some rest. The reason I got this sick has to be because of the grind, like, we have to take care of ourselves and remember what's really important, and I think it's easy to lose sight of when you love your business because you can just take it on like crazy and just more, 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 and then it's like, "Wait a second, what's actually important in my life?"
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, I think that is a very good thing to look forward to for 2024. I'm excited for you.
yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for you. I think that this is such a fun era for you, and I think it's been really interesting to be this close to you and to get to hear, the ins and outs of your business, how it's evolved from when you first started out, because we started working together not long after you got started,
Yeah.
and then to see you put pedal to the metal, right? Of like full steam ahead. I want to take on everything and I'm going to be a super VA to like, hey, this is how I keep on thinking of the phrase boss your business, which is one of our podcasts that we produce. So shout out to Candace, but like to really see you managing your time, your autonomy, your boundaries, like the lifestyle that you wanna create for yourself in addition to your business has been really, really fun. So I'm excited to see what comes next for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very excited too. I'm excited to see how Big Brave Business plays into it. I'm excited to see just what availability looks like for me moving forward. There's just a lot of good things in rotation. We're going to build onto our house, I think, in the new year potentially. We're really excited about that. I feel really good about just my marriage and just my relationships and my friendships. I've gotten really intentional about trying to spend more time with people in person, which is not something I typically like to do, as we all know. So I'm just trying to be more intentional. And I've also gotten to now, because of how I've structured my schedule and how protective I am over my time, I've gotten that freedom back of being able to, like, I can listen to a podcast, I can listen to an audiobook. I don't feel like I'm having to throw all the things to the wayside that really bring me joy. And that's a really good thing. So I think it's only going to get better. I hope to write a lot more in the new year. That's a big thing on my radar, and like hopes and dreams for the new year. So we'll just see. I'm very excited for the both of us, and I also am really curious to hear what our listeners have going on. So please come find us on Instagram at Big Brave Business, or you can find Sarah at Sarah K. Heater. You can also follow me and find me at Amanda Nelson Reads. I would absolutely love to hear more about what you got cooking in your business, and Sarah would too. So drop by and say hello, and make sure that you are tuning in every single Wednesday over on our YouTube channel, where we have brand new content every single week that is focused around people that we love and admire and are just so fun. Trust us, it is a fun conversation you will not want to miss. So we will see you guys next week.
Bye.